controversial to say and trigger a lot of you passionate fans out there, but I'm just gonna say it. I think Taylor Swift is Michael Jackson level famous now.
Hey fam, so some folks are actually delusionally comparing Taylor Swift and Beyoncé to the legendary Michael Jackson. Really? And trust me, people are not having it. But before we dive into MJ's record-breaking greatness, let's check out how people are reacting.
I am going to try to put it into perspective for you, how famous Michael Jackson was and is. Michael Jackson is so famous that white men from other countries that don't like black people got surgery to look like him and now will spend their whole lives impersonating him. Let me say this so that you truly understand how famous Michael Jackson is and was. He is so famous that hundreds, if not thousands of people purposely went and got plastic surgery, disfigured their face so that they could look like him, just so they could feel a fraction of what he felt every day from people, just so they could get a fraction of the attention that he got. Y'all clearly do not understand what Michael Jackson famous really means.
Someone had the audacity on this app to say, hey, Taylor Swift is bigger than Michael Jackson. No, the hell she is not. One is the king of pop. You can like Taylor Swift. You can love Taylor Swift. But you cannot compare Taylor Swift to the legend that is Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was king of a whole genre. He had the most iconic music videos ever made. And some will say, well, you're sexist. No, I'm not. I think that Stevie Nicks and Whitney Houston automatically are bigger than Taylor Swift. Now, that's my opinion. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. But you have to draw the line when people start saying stupid shit like that. Like Taylor Swift, I'll give her props for writing a lot of her material, but she'll never, in my opinion, be on a Stevie Nicks or Whitney Houston. What about Ann Wilson from Heart? She is amazing. Her vocals are out of this world, and her cover of Stairway to Heaven at the Kennedy Honors was incredible.
I see a lot of discourse on MJ over the last few days, and I see a lot of people like comparing MJ to like Taylor Swift or like Beyonce, which is cool. This is no slight against Beyonce. I don't want no smoke, Beehive. I don't want no smoke, Swifties. I'm good. I think people don't actually know who or what Michael Jackson is. Now, I'm far from the first person to talk about this, but Michael Jackson had grown men in Taiwan passing out when they saw him in 1982. The world was not globalized like it is right now. Not only was there no social media, there was no internet. Michael Jackson was the first black person to have their music video feature on MTV. Like, some of the things we just think are normal now happened because of Michael Jackson. So when people compare him to modern artists, it doesn't make sense. It's different context. All those records that MJ broke, people had to drive to the store and physically buy a record for those records to be broken that he did. Y'all, you couldn't go on YouTube. You couldn't go and stream it. You couldn't go on Ticketmaster and buy a ticket. You had to go up there and beat everyone else in the world who also wanted an MJ ticket physically. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not apples for apples. It's like an apple and a watermelon, y'all. It's not the same thing. That's no slight to anybody. It's not the same thing. Not only will there never be someone as famous as Michael Jackson again, there will never be someone who did what Michael Jackson did with the lack of resources that he had in the 80s and the 70s. Again, it can't happen again. It just won't happen again.
Exactly. Loud it. Brother, these Gen Z folks don't realize you had to actually get up, go out, line up to buy MJ's records. No streaming, no downloads, and now they're comparing him to today's artists? Come on, let's really compare and see why that's just a bit delusional.
Someone on Twitter posted a video of Taylor Swift dancing and said, quote, "Put her in a cage with Michael Jackson and she'll come out the winner because she really knows how to dance," close quotes. Do you really want to know what the dance was that she did? I don't know what's worse, the fact that the video they used was her doing that, or the fact that these Swifties' delusions have gone so far beyond the moon that they're to the next planet.
That's all you've got. Well, let me show you the real magic of MJ. Let the legend speak for himself.
No shade, but I'd rather watch this.
All right, can we stop comparing any other artist to Michael Jackson? Like, I know for a fact I was young when a lot of this stuff was happening, so I didn't see it really live and everything. But I mean, just look at it. Look at the footage. Like, I've never seen no other artist have this type of impact. And mainly, you got to think about it. Was it because social media wasn't around and other artists weren't as had that much access to the artist? But just the things that he was doing, even from here in other countries, it's like Usher, Chris Brown, they're not doing that. Now, mind you, they're great artists, though. Like, their music catalogs are amazing. But, I mean, still, just nobody even comes close to comparing to him. And, like, I hate when people are like, oh, they're the Michael Jackson of our era. Because, no, they're still not even close to the impact that MJ had or the musical catalog. So, what y'all think? I'm getting tired of hearing it.
What'd you say? Take. Give it to.
Michael, Mom. I love you, Michael.
I love you.
Michael. I love you, Michael.
Love you too.
I can't believe Michael. you. Oh my God. Oh Michael, like, I love you.
Love you too.
All right. Now, after seeing all that, tell me this. Who else is doing something like that today? Nobody. Name one artist. Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
The reason that I feel so personally affronted when people try and compare Taylor Swift to some of the massive greats, especially Michael Jackson, well, there's quite a few reasons. But one of the main reasons is because what I fear they're doing is they are comparing data instead of artistic value, and that is where we get lost. Now, I am not trying to diss on everyone that likes Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan. I think that she's pretty problematic, and I don't think she's that talented. Please don't attack me. I know it's coming. But Michael Jackson, and, you know, I am talking specifically here from the artistic perspective because I'm not going to diminish certain controversies. But not only was he literally one of the most famous people of all time, let alone musicians, but him being who he was in the time he was with some of the art he made, some of the music he made, is so impactful. And I think to compare that to what Taylor Swift makes is insulting. And I think it's wrong. Taylor Swift makes music that is very, very basic for her audience. And I'm not saying like that's bad. I'm just saying I think that comparing it because, oh, like Taylor Swift, you know, sells out stadiums and all blah, blah, blah. Like there is a big difference between a black artist that creates music like They Don't Really Care About Us versus Shake It Off. Like I think that there's a big difference that needs to be accounted there, and people will be like, well, that's just so rude to Taylor Swift. But the thing is that art, like I've said before, I truly believe the best art comes from resistance, and it comes from a place of wanting to actually tell a story. And Taylor Swift has openly talked about it in videos and such, that awards are a massive part of her drive. The art is not necessarily as important. And some people will say, well, this resonates with me versus this doesn't. But again, I think you have to look at the time period and what Michael Jackson was doing in his era, being who he was versus, you know, the white, attractive pop star that has literally been curated to bring in as many followers as she possibly can. Michael Jackson did that shit through talent and through showmanship. I mean, he literally had people passing out at his concerts just from getting a glance at him. I just think it's unfair to equate those things, and I think that there is a deeper conversation to be had there. There are artists that I think you have to remember are just more palatable, and I think that it's harder to compare them or put them in a place of how amazing they are, because if they have been literally designed to be loved by everyone, they already have a massive advantage. So you have to kind of compare that to their black counterparts or their gay counterparts or their black gay counterparts, the people that really managed to rise above through showmanship, through their artistry alone, even though they had so much going against them societally speaking, to start with. It's very easy for Taylor Swift to have a massive rise. It was always going to be easy for her, not to mention that she literally is a chameleon and changes her persona to whatever is palatable for the time, which makes it easy for her to boost sales and for her to keep in the mainstream. The fact that Michael Jackson was able to write resistance music, for example, and still have some of his biggest ops singing those songs, showing up to his concerts, that's massive. And I think that ignoring that is ignoring a huge part of musical history and the power of music in general and artistry in general. I mean, that even though he is dead and he has quite a lot of controversy surrounding him, you can't erase that part of his identity.
All right. Now we've seen some reactions. Let's get into the real numbers. The awards, the records, all the proof that MJ is truly a league of his own.
It is said that Michael Jackson, at the peak of his time, had 4.8 billion fans. The peak of his time was around the mid-1980s. And you want to know what the population around the mid-1980s was? 4.8 billion. Niggas don't understand when I say this. Everyone knew who he was, okay, in the world. So when we say, oh, we have these new artists like, oh, Chris Brown, The Weeknd, Drake, whatever, They don't, first of all, they don't have 4.8 billion fans. And now the world is bigger. The world has nearly 9 billion people on it. They don't have 9 billion fans, my boy. They don't have 9 billion. It actually goes to show, like, how crazy popular this nigga was. Genuinely. There's no other thing to say.
It's the most insane stat that proves Michael Jackson's genius. Michael Jackson sold over 1 billion records worldwide. But here's what makes it unbelievable. He did it with only 6 solo albums released between 1979 and 2001. Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, His Story, Invincible. Madonna released 14 studio albums. Elton John over 30. Michael Jackson became the best-selling artist of all time with 6. He's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. Guinness World Records calls him the most successful entertainer of all time. He didn't just break records. He set standards nobody will ever reach again.
I saw this chart. Michael Jackson's best-selling albums of all time. See, this right here is why when people try to compare artists to Michael Jackson, I just be like, just shut up. Like, look at this. First of all, 122 million. I'm going to just say 123 million because we're going to round it up. 123 million copies. And it's back when you had to physically get your ass up out the house and go to the music store and go get them. This man sold more copies of one album than the population in certain countries. Look at that run. Off the Wall, 32.8 million. Thriller, 122.8 million. Bad, 64 million. Dangerous, 47 million. History, 33 million. The man's lowest selling album was 1.1 million. So everything he did was platinum. And this is just Michael Jackson by himself as an artist. We're not even including the Jackson 5. That 5 album run between Off the Wall and History, an artist would be lucky to just have one of those for their whole discography. 122.8 million for one album. Stop playing with Michael Joseph Jackson like that. The king of pop, like he ain't that dude. The man standing still. Not even moving, people fainting.
Alright, now we've seen some record MJ broke in his lifetime. Let's dive into the records he's still breaking 16 years after he's passed.
I can't even comprehend this information, to be honest with you. For you to pass away 16 years ago and you still sold 1 million records. Like, who's really doing this? Who will ever do this? As of September of 2025, these are the top selling albums. MJ is literally behind Sabrina Carpenter. And I don't want to hear that, oh, it's a streaming era, which it is. I'm not being ignorant about that, but people still buy albums. Michael Jackson started singing at the age of 5. His career started 61 years ago. He's been deceased for 16 years, and he sold 1 million records in 2025? Imagine Michael Jackson had the power of social media. I mean, he was social media back then, to be honest with you. MJ was global before social media. He also stated himself that his fans treated him better overseas. He got more love overseas. We will never see an artist with this much impact ever in our lives. Because to be honest with you, Michael Jackson has fans that hasn't even been born yet. I was a fan growing up. He was like my family member. I got some young family members that are not even 10, listening to his music and doing all his moves. This is outrageous and hard to comprehend.
Michael Jackson died in 2009. This year he made $105 million. And last year, in 2024, he made $600 million, which is record-breaking even if you're alive. And since his death, his estate has earned $3.5 billion. And this is in addition to the money he already had. And y'all want to compare him to who? I'll be right back. Michael Jackson is the most famous person who ever walked the face of this earth. Even the Yawalapiti tribe, a tribe isolated from all human contact, takes a trip to the city to watch Michael Jackson perform. Michael Jackson used to have the paramedics with him everywhere he went. Not for himself, but for everybody else. No, I'm being 100. Grown-ass men, your daddy was carried out on stretchers at the sight of Michael Jackson. The sight of Michael Jackson. He didn't sing a note. They would pass out at the sight of Michael Jackson. Masses of people, black, white, brown, yellow, would find his hotel and camp out around, just in case he peeped out of the curtain. You couldn't get no meet and greet tickets to see Michael Jackson. You would have had to pack a lunch to stand in a meet and greet line to see Michael Jackson. Your sugar would have got low standing in that line. All this to say, stop comparing Michael Jackson to anybody. This is not to take away from any artist that has been compared. I feel it's an honor to even be brought up in the same sentence as Michael Jackson. But leave it at that. I personally think we shouldn't be comparing any artist to the next. No success should be compared. I mean, let's compare your shit, for instance. See how fun that'll be. Comparison is the thief of fulfillment. And on that note,
Michael Jackson is still the most famous person on earth since Jesus Christ.
He's the most famous person who ever walked the planet. I don't think there's any argument to that. Everybody from 5 to 95 knew who Michael Jackson was. Everybody, no matter where you were. Are there 5-year-olds in other countries that don't know who Jesus Christ is?
I can see an argument.
You know what I